how do you wear these things? Whew,
You get used to it. You won't even notice it's there after a few minutes.
really?
It sort of
I'm not. Hope you're not going
squeezes
to
all
ask.
the brain out of that part of your head. So you'll be good.
You're not going to ask me all those questions. I hope.
No, it's going to be a
No.
lot more like a conversation than
Okay.
a exact Q&A. But we're working on a generosity campaign, as you know.
Right.
And a question that we found fascinating as I've done this interview is, what do you think generosity means?
Ooh. Well, I think it means giving of yourself as much as you can, uh, wherever you can, wherever your talents lie, and also giving as much cash or money as you can to the church or whatever organization you're concerned with.
You were listening to the sermon this week where we did all the do all you can.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
when have you felt somebody was being generous towards you in your life?
Towards me. Oh.
Whether it was a single person or a congregation or even God.
Well, I think God has been very generous with me, actually. I contributed to it too, though. I worked hard during my career, and I was very successful, and I now reaping the benefits of that success, actually. So I think I didn't realize it at the time, but I think God played a big part in it. So.
Can you think of a specific time when you felt somebody else being generous towards you?
Mm. Mm. That's a good question.
You know it's happened.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm just trying to think of of a good example. And well, I know my wife was very generous to me. Uh, I never would have made it through college if it hadn't been for my wife. So, right, she worked so that I could afford to go, even though we had um, two children at the time, and she also supported me because she's a lot smarter than I am in some subjects. So English being one of them. So she helped me with my college, getting through college a lot.
You bring up those kids. How have you in your life talked to your kids or younger people about money?
Well, mostly I've lived the same philosophy that my father gave me, and I tried to pass that on to my children. And my father's philosophy was, if you do not have the money to pay for whatever it is you want, then you can't afford it. So wait until you have the money. And that's sort of the way I live my life, and I've taught my children the same thing, and they're all very successful. Yeah.
So as much as you can push for debt reduction,
Right.
or just not even
Or
getting the debt.
right. Stay out of debt if you can. That's almost impossible to do. But, I mean,
We got to buy houses.
right. You have to buy houses and you have to have a car and things like that. But when my father was growing up, he never had a bank. They never had a bank account even. So, you know, or a credit card until they were traveling back and forth to Arizona, and it turned out they needed a credit card. He finally broke down and got one. But he always said it was like paying for a dead horse.
I was, I don't remember where it was I read this, but I think I read up until the 1950s, the largest holder of credit in this country was pawn shops.
Really?
Yeah. Credit wasn't something that people really gave away before then.
Right. That's true.
It is fascinating sort of stuff. Um, how have you talked about money within your family? Maybe not just with your kids, but with your spouse.
We did talk about it quite a bit because in the early days we struggled, to make ends meet, like every new couple, newly married couple with children has that same problem. But I don't I don't know that we discussed it all that much. Just
Doesn't feel like something you remember discussing
no,
anyway.
no, I don't remember discussing it very much.
Um, how does your relationship with God affect how you earn and save money? And what I mean by that sort of question is, as Methodists, we sort of go by this threefold understanding of stewardship. And John Wesley talked about giving all you can, which when we talk about generosity and generosity campaign, a lot of people think it's all about giving, giving, giving. But he also talked about earning all you can and saving all you can.
Right.
And what do those two things mean to you?
Well, I I do believe I earned all I could, but with the talents that I have, and managed to save. Excuse me. Um, After the who was it? Reagan that passed the where you can the IRA,
The Roth IRA?
Roth. Well, not a Roth, but a regular. That's not IRA. Um, anyway, when you could deduct some of your salary and do that, I started doing that immediately, and of course the company matched some of it, so it was very and then invested it in um, bonds and stock and that with the company provided um, investments, and that paid off. So it really helped, and I did fairly well. So
We're moving right along. See, it's easier with one person than two. Two
yeah.
people take me almost an hour. So we're going to fly through this because we're already in week 2. What motivates you to support the ministries of our church?
Well, I've always felt that if I was going to be a member of a church, I needed to support it as much as I could. Um, and for a long time, I thought I was providing support, but then I started working here in finance and realized that I wasn't really giving all that much, and I really so I set myself on a track to be able to tithe, and because I didn't think I wasn't sure I could do it, period. Um, but so I started increasing it gradually, and then finally decided, well, I can actually do this, and so I decided that I really wanted to tithe, and I got there, and then I found out, geez, I can still give more. So it's it's um, it's a great place to be, actually, to feel like you can give back.
As you sort of made that commitment, you talk about wanting to be able to tithe. As you made that commitment, what sort of obstacles did you find that there were, or what sort of perceived obstacles were there?
Well, I didn't actually think I could get by uh, financially by doing it, but I thought it was worth a try, and then I realized that um, what I thought was all I could give wasn't what God said all I could give, right? And um, but I did a lot of things to cut out expenses, so to make sure that I could giving, and actually did quite well with that as well. So but I found out that when when I did start tithing, that I had just as much money as I had before, and I had enough money to meet all my needs and then some. So.
Do you find that when you give, you end up sort of shaping how you live the rest of your life?
I think so. Yes, I would agree with that.
What do you think the Bible tells us about how we should use our money?
Well, wisely, I think. uh, but you don't. It tells us not to make money the priority, or you can't. I can't remember how it's worded. You can't love money and uh, you're gonna have to help me. I can't remember the other
Can't
part.
serve two masters.
Serve two men. Thank you. That's what it is. Yes.
Can't serve God and mammon.
Right. So.
That's a pretty popular quote there.
Right.
And we're going to hit the second half of that in the sermon on the first week, um, where it goes, you can't love God and money. You'll end up loving one and hating the other, or hating the one and loving the other.
Right.
Where your heart is, there your treasure will be also.
Yep.
So that's
In the old adage, it's better to give than receive is certainly true. I mean, it's
what sort of things do you think you do receive when you give and when you increase giving?
well, you receive I don't know how to word it, but the satisfaction that you're helping some cause or some other person. Um, I sponsor a child in India, and it gives me great pleasure to get the once a year letter from this girl and know that she's benefiting from my helping her.
That's great. In what ways do you think generosity has helped to shape you into the kind of Christian that God wants you to be?
Mm, I don't know. Honestly don't know how to answer that question.
Can you remember when it was that you decided to make a commitment towards generosity an important discipline in your life?
Yeah, I was trying to think. It was a few years ago, but it wasn't so far in the distant past that I can't remember actually doing it. It was after my wife passed away, so because we had a lot of debts when she was sick, and but it was after that when I realized that I could be more generous with my funds, and for a long time afterwards, after she passed away, excuse me, I was quite happy being all by myself. But then I realized that life was better if you're connected with other people, and that's why I enjoy coming here almost every day, and being around the kids and other adults. That it's very satisfying to me.
How do you plan or pray about how you're going to be using your money?
Well, I'm usually it's sort of I think you have it like in the back of your mind that there's probably something you could do. God's nudging you, or in my case anyway, I feel like I'm being nudged towards something, and then all of a sudden, well, yeah, you can do that. That's a good thing to do. And so I do it. It's um, it's not necessarily planned ever. It's just sort of comes on me that I need to do it.
If somebody came to you, because it does sound like you had to plan a little bit to get to a tithe.
Yes, I did.
It sounds like you had to plan a little bit. If somebody came to you and said, "Well, I don't really give more than $20 a month right now, but I'd like to try to tithe," what sort of steps would you tell them to take?
I would tell them to maybe increase it by 50% and see how that goes, and or maybe even 100%, because what you think is all you can give is probably not anywhere near what you really can give. If you really want to do it, you can find a way to do it, and incrementally start increasing it to get. And you'll find out that it doesn't take that long. Uh, it didn't take me that long, actually. So
And I think, like we said, we end up paying more attention to what our other outgoing costs are
you do,
when we do all that.
yes. You start saying, well, I don't really need to do that, or
I said it earlier, Katie and I, we were rebudgeting the other night because she started a new job a few months ago, and we finally said, I think we need to probably budget, because we had a budget, but really just for my income and what she made at her multiple jobs at the old house. And so we sat down and we started budgeting, and we said, we spent $150 at Dunkin' Donuts last month on coffee.
wow.
We need to fix that. So we went out and bought a Mr. Coffee machine to go next to the Keurig, and
Yep.
now I say to myself, I think I could use some Starbucks. I'm like, no, I'm going to wait the next 3 minutes, and I'm going to get to church and just make my cup of coffee. It'll be fine.
Yep.
You can handle it, Carl. That sort of thing. Where you're
Right.
like,
Well, that's
how did I do this?
well. It's sort of like I started turning off electric things in my house that I'm not using it. The TV doesn't need to be on. That I mean, even though that you're not watching it, it's still draining power. So. And I managed to it's gone back up now, but reduce my monthly bill from like 150 down to 50 uh, without almost that not that much effort to do it. And uh,
So how do your beliefs about God shape your giving?
well, hmm, I'm trying to give to where I think it it is most needed or will benefit uh, something the most. I think other than the tithing part, the other giving, I usually pray to God and ask for uh, guidance and whether it's the right thing to do or not. Um,
What do you think our church could do in order to be a more generous congregation?
hmm, I thought we were a pretty generous congregation, but
It's all about growing, right?
yeah, I mean, yes, the larger you are, the more. Well, actually, I thought about that some. You look at we have a congregation of 300 or so people, and there's probably when it comes to actually doing things, there's probably only about somewhere less than 100 people that ever do anything. If we could get everybody engaged, which I know that's what Blast is trying to do, is get everybody engaged. We could do a lot.
So you ready to invite them all to Blast? Look right in the camera. Say, come to Blast.
Come to Blast.
We need you. It's how we come together as
Yeah.
a church family.
Right.
Um, how does living generously help us to see the world through God's eyes rather than our own?
Hmm. Well, I guess we get to see a part of the community or the world other than the little sphere that we live in, which can sometimes be very comfort. You're in a group of peers or that you have a certain attitude towards what life is all about, and then but you can see if you say worked with the homeless or something like that outside, you would get a very different picture of what daily life is like.
How do you think God has transformed your life through giving?
Through give, excuse me, through giving, did you say?
Through generosity, through living generously, yeah.
Um, well, it certainly has enriched my life, I believe. The the feeling you get when you've you're generous towards, and you hope that maybe that will cause that person to be generous to somebody else. And if that's the case, then it, it would have a ripple effect throughout the community or the organization or whatever you're in.
Um, can you think of a time where it felt like you were giving sacrificially, like it might have hurt a little bit to give or might have been a little bit scary to give that much?
Oh yes, scary. Yeah. Um, Actually, when it's before your time, but we were have had this building program, and I committed to what I thought was an awful lot of money to that. Wasn't sure that I could do it, uh, but I did manage. But I wasn't at that particular time. I wasn't tithing either, so it would have been about equivalent to tithing.
So, how do you celebrate what God has helped you to be able to give? How do you celebrate when you think back at how much you've been able to give?
I don't know. I don't think I celebrate.
When Katie and I would get our statement at the end of the year, I'm often amazed. I'm like, how in the world did that much money come out of my wallet? And I feel so great about it until I go to my tax guy and he says, Carl, you need to give about $19,000 more for for that to even matter as far as taxes go. And I'm brought down to earth a little bit after feeling real prideful about it.
Right.
But it is really an exciting thing, I think, for us. It's something we can be really joyful about when we're able to see how much we've been able to contribute towards kingdom building. So I was just curious if anybody had any sort of ways that they were able to celebrate how they were able to give.
No, I don't. I haven't thought of it as a celebration. I mean, I've been very pleased with some of the results of what I've done, but so I guess that's kind of a celebration, celebrating somebody else's success because of it.
I think we run into that place where we feel like we're supposed to be real humble about what we're giving, but I think we can celebrate what God's given us, and we can celebrate when we've been the blessing that we think God has called us to be.
Yeah.
Um, Not become haughty or become really,
Oh,
because that feels like the dangerous part of celebrating our giving, doesn't it?
right.
It feels a little dangerous if we're not careful and if we're not celebrating for the right reasons. But when it's because we're excited about what God's been able to do with that money, or with that time that we've spent, because you give a lot through your time too. Um, that's something you haven't talked a whole lot about, and my questions didn't lead themselves a lot to that. But
Right.
you
But
give
that
a lot through your time. What does giving of your time mean to you?
that means a lot. Uh, but I benefit by it as much as uh, the church or the children's ministry is benefiting by it as well. Like I said, for a long time I was real happy being all by myself, and that's I benefit with the relationships that I've uh, established since I started helping out here and volunteering my time. And I certainly don't need the money, so I don't need to work for it. So it, it's it's a real pleasure to be able to do it. It really is, and I wish more people would do it because I know they have the time. A lot of it's sort of like you don't think you have the time until you've actually, or you don't think you have enough money, but in reality, you probably have a lot more than you think. Yeah.
Why do you think people should live generously?
Well, it's a it's a good place to be. I mean, it's a good feeling when you you you've been generous uh, with time or money or whatever. Just lending an ear to somebody when they're uh, having a bad day or something is being generous with your time, and it can be very um, heartwarming to. I mean, it's just a great feeling when you've been generous, and more people should try it.
I love it. I love it. So, I've been finishing these by asking what maybe your last word is. If anything's bubbled up to the surface that you think is important people hear about giving or generosity in any way, what would you have to say to anybody that you would want them to go away from our generosity campaign here in a few weeks hearing?
Well, um, I think it's in Deuteronomy. They says you should give all you can. It doesn't say you have to tithe. It just says you should give all you can, um, and what what you need to do is to talk to God and ask Him how much He thinks you can give, and you might get a different answer than what you think. I'm pretty sure everybody would.
Some of us are a lot more comfortable with the tithe than we are with that answer, aren't we?
Yes. Yep. So,
Well, thank you, Duane.
oh, you're welcome.
I hope that was easy.
It wasn't too bad.